New breed, global truth. Shalom, 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 family. What's going on? Like the video on your way in. Like the video on your way in. I see y'all rolling in the chat. All praises to the Most High. We got another expose for you brothers and sisters today. Never in the history of social media have you had any content creator actually expose TMZ, the ones who seem to be doing all the exposing. Yeah. This type of stream right here is paramount. This is history in the making. This is a greater understanding of how social media works, how celebrity gossip works, the business of it, and the esoteric meanings behind TMZ. Because the rabbit hole is deep. And what we're going to be discussing today is layers. And we're going to be unveiling a lot. Before we get into the stream, though, I got a monologue for you, a brief news break before we get into the topic. But this one is going to go very deep. Trust and believe that. And it's going to definitely make you question everything. You're going to start questioning everything. And there's going to be a lot of people from our broadcast earlier going to have to eat their words. Once you find out certain information I'm going to bring forward, and you're going to know without a shadow of a doubt that that young man who just passed away by the name of Big Scar was, in fact, a blood sacrifice. And you'll find out just by listening to some of the information that's going to be brung out. And we're going to be getting to it. But before we do so, we got a news break. Tory Lanez, Canadian rapper, has been found guilty of shooting fellow artist Meg Thee Stallion. Yes, I have to break that news so nobody is distracted by what's going on, and we can actually cover that before we jump into the topic. It is true he was found guilty. A Los Angeles jury on Friday found Daystar Peterson, his real name, the Canadian rapper better known as Tory Lanez, guilty of shooting Meg Thee Stallion in both her feet, and I'm New York Times, by the way, in both of her feet following an argument about their romantic entanglement and respective careers in the summer of 2020. Mr. Lanez, 30 years old, was convicted of 3 felony counts: assault with a semi-automatic handgun, carrying a loaded unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence. He faced more than 20 years in prison and could be possibly deported. The case, which played out as both tawdry tabloid narratives and weighty referendum and the treatment of black women in hip hop and beyond, was closely watched for both his famous characters. Now, they just pointed out something very key. There's definitely some protection going on with black women in hip hop. That's for sure. What I really want to say about this is the price of dealing with the succubus. This is the price of dealing with the Jezebels. I didn't watch every court litigation, but what I will say is I believe that from what I've seen, the courts did a good enough job of creating probable cause that Tory Lanez didn't do it, and it pointed more to Meg Thee Stallion's own friend. So I think they did a good enough job of causing probable cause, Tory Lanez lawyers. And that's all it should have took. If you don't know for sure, then at the end of the day, he should have walked. But, you know, the court of public opinion, this was held in Los Angeles. You had various people protesting on Meg's behalf outside of the courthouse, which could have possibly swayed the juror's decision. And now, because Tory Lanez was dealing with Meg Thee Stallion being a high-ranking witch in the industry, now he has to pay the piper and face 20 years or more in prison. I think it's a horrible thing, but this is what happens in that industry. There's more than one way to sacrifice someone in the music industry. And I believe that Meg Thee Stallion sacrificed Tory Lanez. It just wasn't a blood sacrifice. She sacrificed his career. Because from what I can remember, Meg Thee Stallion was running around twerking that behind everywhere after she was supposedly shot in her feet. So, you know, it just kind of is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. You know, that's the price they pay. It's a wicked, foul industry. And brothers, what you should learn is be careful what type of women you spend your time with. Be careful what type of women that you are in the presence of. Because some of these women are cutthroat. They more cutthroat than the fellas. And also I heard that Meg Thee Stallion is considering going after content creators who were basically pushing narratives that she was lying. Now that she has been vindicated in a court of law, she's going to be going after, you know, content creators for lawsuits, because, you know, she's going to be saying that you guys were basically assassinating her character. It's defamation. And that's why that was one of those cases that I really didn't want to speak on for those reasons. We learned from Cardi B that the way she went at Tasha K, that if you don't have all your facts and ducks in a row, they can come after you for slander. And she seemed like she's money hungry and bloodthirsty, if you ask me. But the whole thing seems suspicious. It is what it is. Now, let's talk about TMZ. Now, brothers and sisters, I want y'all to pound the like button, because nobody is going to be bringing out this type of information on social media the way I'm bringing it out, right? Now, let's get them likes up. I see brothers and sisters rolling in. Forgive me for not greeting y'all. I see True S in the building, Jacqueline, Fap is Cap, Courtney Johnson, Mirror the Light. What is going on with y'all? Nakia Howard, hello. I see y'all. All praises to the Most High. Radar says, how are they convicting him if she admitted to lying? I don't know what she admitted to, and I don't even know why I read that out loud. I don't know nothing about that. We done with that story. Up on the score, I see you in the building. Ventus the Cat, Stephen Patterson, Lucky Don, K Israel. I see y'all. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. It's good to have y'all aboard. Get ready to gain a greater understanding on what TMZ is all about. First and foremost, let's go into this source here that was uploaded about 6 years ago. Where TMZ, this was posted on PBS NewsHour. How TMZ is changing the business of celebrity gossip. Now peep this.
How the popular media and gossip website TMZ works and how it's changing that business. The site is often the leading destination of celeb news and even notable national scandal. TMZ obtained the video of football running back Ray Rice knocking his fiancée unconscious in a casino elevator.
Now, listen, TMZ has a very grueling history of exposing the inner workings of the actual industry. I'm talking about some of the more dark, sinister stories were brought out by TMZ. Ladies and gentlemen, they're always in the mix. They always know what's going on. They know what goes on with certain celebrities that are in the high ups. We talking about the deep embedded witches and warlocks. They know about the rituals. They know about all of that because they're always there, right? Let's continue.
Before that, it released recordings of racist remarks made by Donald Sterling, who was at the time the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers. The New Yorker magazine published an investigation of...
You know, the interesting part is some of the people's information that they're releasing are very high in the fraternal order. But see, this is done by permission, what they can and can't put out, right? Now, some would ask New Breed, how is TMZ always the first on the scene when it comes to a murder, an untimely death, or any type of altercation? How are they always first there? Well, not only do they have a network of investigators, spies, and what you would deem as journalists, if you want to call them that, they have agents. But not only that, ladies and gentlemen, the rabbit hole gets a little bit deeper than that. TMZ is owned by Fox Corporation. Yeah, Fox Corporation. Some people didn't know that, right? TMZ, a news tabloid website owned by Fox, made its debut November 8th, 2005, originally as corroboration between AOL and Telepictures, a division of Warner Brothers. So in short, to answer your question, how they always there, it's the money, ladies and gentlemen. It's the money. Now, interesting enough, Big Scar just passed away yesterday, December 22nd. He was 22 years old in the year 2022. The first news broadcast to release the information on his death was who, ladies and gentlemen? Memphis, Tennessee's news, Fox News. Yeah, it was Fox News. Yeah. See, now we getting somewhere, right? I had some varying concerns after my last broadcast. I had people come into my chat and say, New Breed, it's not that deep. It was an overdose. The only place that they got their information from was guess where, ladies and gentlemen? Guess where they got their information from? TMZ. Yeah, that's the only place that information came from. And then right after that, the content creators started rolling with that narrative. Ladies and gentlemen, there was now peep this. There was no toxicology released on this young man. There was no police report released on this young man. And there was no news coverage stating the cause of death. So, if this didn't get you to think, I don't know what will. Guess what else Fox News said? Who also controls TMZ? They told you that there was no foul play involved. Now, how could you announce on the news or label entitled Fox News, the Fox News broadcast, that there was no foul play before you even release cause of death? So as you can see, these individuals are in cahoots. The news along with TMZ. Ooh. Yeah. Let's continue.
TMZ, and Jeffrey Brown spoke with the writer, Nicholas Schmidl, earlier this week.
Nicholas Schmidl, welcome to you.
Thanks.
First, how do you describe what TMZ is and does?
Sure. So the TMZ is a celebrity news site. It is kind of it's the same vein as the National Enquirer, but what they are doing is much more sort of documentary based celebrity news reporting in a way that...
Documented meaning what?
Meaning posting videos, posting pictures, posting court documents, doing stories about celebrity news and celebrity gossip that are sort of unimpeachable. I mean, in the past, celebrity news report might have come out and a celebrity might have been able to say, no, that's not true, and dismissed it, and had publicists sort of stand in the way. TMZ goes to you with the video and says, this is what we're running in a few hours. Do you have a comment?
Well, what you're also showing,
So, they're telling you straight out that they're in cahoots. Now, for those who caught my stream earlier about the young rapper who just passed away, Big R, let me make this clear. I'm not saying that he did not die of a drug overdose. But what you must understand is rather strange how we don't need police reports, toxicology. We don't even need a cause of death. TMZ has become way too powerful, ladies and gentlemen. That's the problem. They can tell you anything and you take it as face value. You're not questioning everything. They don't even have to show our people any facts. We're not requiring that. Although this is a sort of a satire documentary website, how it's changing the world is people are running with the narratives and taking them as face value. I had people in my chat attacking me, people in the comment section saying, "New breed, you just trying to promote some drama. He died of a drug overdose and that is it." Basically, you just trying to create something. It is what it is, even though you have no factual, you have no paperwork, you have nothing that substantiate your premises. Only thing you have is TMZ. TMZ. And we're going to talk about what that represents, the Talmuds. We're going to get into the history of Talmuds and how they're transforming media as we know it using esoteric practices and witchcraft. We're going to go deep. Yeah, we're going to go deep.
On the one hand, as you say, nothing new in this kind of gossip and celebrity journalism, but they have changed the game, upped the game. A lot of it, as you show, through some old-fashioned reporting.
Right. So there is. I mean, there is a reporting aspect to it. I mean, they've dedicated more resources to court reporting. They have 3 full-time court reporters at the Los Angeles courthouse. The Los Angeles Times has 1. They are working. I mean, their reporters work very, very hard. The difference is that there's not a lot of enterprise reporting going on. They're not identifying a story they want to go after and pursuing it. Most of what they're getting is coming in through tips. It's very clear at the top of the...
So they're getting pretty much these anonymous tips and they're getting paid from somebody, from someone. To point to corporate. Because I like to add a name to these people. This is what they don't like, ladies and gentlemen. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring this screen back up. I like to put a face to these people. I like to really show you who's involved, because that's what they don't like, since they like to expose everybody, right? Who is paying these people? Because if they working around the clock in reporting, who's cutting the check? We need to find that out, right? Who's cutting the check? None other than Rupert Murdoch. Now, he doesn't completely own Fox News, but he owns a great deal of it. I said this once and I'll say it again. The people who control the media is very few. It's about 6 families that control everything. Of course, you have associates, you have a few people who's connected, but this is who basically pays TMZ, the owners of Fox News. They're the ones who are pushing the narratives. Now, mind you, Fox has various stations. So it's not Fox News. Fox has various channels, if you will. And there's various people who working over these branches. So there's tentacles that connect. There's a lot going on with the news and TMZ. And anytime, they don't even have to come with police reports anymore when it comes to the death of a celebrity. Now, since they can operate anonymously, you don't get to point to who is actually pushing the narratives. It's actually the owners. It's actually the corporate bigwigs. It's actually these individuals who control media who are feeding the news, who are feeding TMZ their information. They're not getting it. They're not getting it from police. So which substantiates my claims from earlier when I said that the judicial system seems to be at the bending whim of the occult, where the law doesn't even matter anymore in this country. Only thing that matters is what you can make people believe. The only thing seems to matter is the narrative that they can push. Nothing else. So we don't need any proof. We don't need to see the police report. We don't need to see any crime scene investigators evaluating what took place. They showing these people right here, these owners, these bigwigs, they disrespect you melanated people to no end. They really have a serious lack of empathy and compassion for our people. It just is what it is. They literally don't tell you anything. In the news briefing, they said that they found that young man dead. They didn't even tell you where they found him. How could they tell you they found someone dead on the news and not even tell you where they found him, how he died, or anything? I'm telling you, Talmuz is working full-fledged. Now, let us go back to the video, and everybody pound the like button. You know that they don't like to share my videos because I'm bringing out information that nobody's really bringing out on this platform. So show your support by liking the video. Let's go.
The TMZ website, how to get stories in. There's a tip line, there's an email.
Yeah, and hundreds come in any given day. Huh?
Exactly.
Now, of course, the other big difference is that they
do. So
right? Sometimes large amounts, sometimes smaller amounts, but that's always possible.
So they pay. They get tips. They get 1,000 emails, and they paying. So when it comes to the Takeoff death, who died at a private party in a Houston bowling alley with all of this cell phone footage, if you can imagine, there were people that was getting paid to send TMZ that footage. But TMZ, working for certain entities and forces that we can't quite address, right? They only release just enough to keep the narrative going. Just enough where they don't incriminate anyone. That's all that was released on TMZ, with all of that footage. Now, they released all of this footage before we even got word from the police. There were already people getting paid off. There was already people sending this footage. So if you can imagine, the way the industry must work is when they're about to line somebody up for a sacrifice, when it comes to our people and the lack of respect and compassion, they can bring Takeoff into this private party, record the ritual, and let TMZ spin the narrative because they have so much power anyway. And we can get paid. We can get paid and they're going to be spinning the narrative. This is crazy. Crazy times. Sub LOL, thank you for the $10 super stick. I appreciate the support. All right. Allow me to continue.
Ability for their stories.
Absolutely. There's a lot of money changing hands.
So there's a whole lot of money exchanging. Why? Because it's coming from Fox. Listen, that's coming from Fox Media. They got big bread. So they able to distribute as much cash as it takes to get the footage. So people know who to call when it goes down, pretty much. When they got some breaking news, they hitting TMZ up so they can get that check. They become way too powerful, man.
$40, $50 over the course of the day, as photographers are paying sources in the airport or paying sources at hotels, restaurants, and then bigger payments for the more for the more desired videos.
Harvey Levin, the founder of TMZ, didn't talk to you, right? For your
correct.
But
they claim that Harvey Levin is the founder of TMZ. I highly doubt that. Well, we know who Harvey Levin is, and we know that he practices a certain religious belief, or he state claims to be a certain religion. You hear me? Y'all know who he is. What Levin is. Y'all know, like unleavened bread. You know what I'm saying? You know what they follow. Come on, man. I don't need to say nothing directly. Y'all can read in between the lines that more than likely, even if he's the figurehead, this is an individual who believes in the Talmud. The word TMZ, ladies and gentlemen, means Talmud. It's short for Talmud. All right. Now I'm going to give you some history on the Talmud. We're going to get into that shortly. All right. We're going to really break it down so you can see the esoteric meaning behind TMZ and how it's used to brainwash and manipulate the people, and how Talmud himself was used for psychological warfare. Talmud, a god. And now he's become an idol within this land. And now people are being manipulated, and they're losing sight of logic through ideological subversion, because the worship and reverence of Talmud is being brung out to the forefront. This is why people can't piece anything together, and people act like they don't know what's going on, because that's what Talmud was designed to do, which we'll get into that. All right.
When he has talked about this, he sounds unapologetic about
Totally. He says the video is the video, is what he says. And if we paid money for the video, so be it.
So he can care less what is brung out. He don't care how crucial it is, how wicked it is, how controversial it is. Listen, they're about that bag. They're about that money. They don't give a damn how alarming it is. They released Takeoff laid out with his head leaking. And you had Gilly the Kid upset with the people who recorded it, when TMZ is the people who don't give a damn what they release. So, they're making it clear. They're telling you they don't care. So if you got some smoke, if you got some anger towards somebody releasing footage, you need to go holler at TMZ, because TMZ, they don't give a damn. They trying to get to that bag. They don't care if it's your grandmama laid out wide open. It don't matter. They're going to release it if they know it's going to get the attention that they desire. Right? Straight up. Nakia Howard, thank you for the $20 super stick. I appreciate the support.
Paying for information is a condemned practice in journalism, because the notion is that you are influencing the source. You're influencing why source is giving you certain information if they know they're being paid for it.
What he just said was key. You're influencing why sources will be given to you if they know they're going to get paid for it. This is how it's changing journalism altogether. Because now when there's money involved, the scripture says money is the root of all evil. Now that there's money involved, there's no dignity to how stories are going to be covered now. You're going to have shock jock media, and now you're going to have things that are released that are pure sensationalism at times. It doesn't matter if it's false or true. Only thing they got to do is take the video footage, put a narrative to it, and guess what? The people run with it. Nobody ever said that TMZ is 100% emphatically true. Nobody said that, listen, nobody from TMZ said, listen, we are a reliable news source. Who told y'all that? Yeah, journalistic integrity is out of the window. It is dead. What you seeing over here on my channel and a select few others, that is close as you're going to get to actual journalistic integrity. See, they're going to be releasing whatever pays top dollar. They never came out and said, listen, we are a reliable source of news or information. No, listen, they know that we're small-minded. They know that we're mental midgets out here, and we're not going to do our due diligence. We're not going to say, hold on, where is the police report? Hold on, where's toxicology? Hold on, let's get a bird's eye view using Google to see the crime scene, to see if what they're telling us actually makes any logical sense, or is this a straight up a fallacy? Is it a straight heretic lie that's brought to you by TMZ, or is it the truth? You don't know because you don't do the research. Crazy. Yep. It's like the media itself is conducting narcissistic abuse on the people. Crazy. Let's continue.
So he's saying that we don't actually pay for information, we pay for product.
We don't necessarily pay for information, we pay for product. Meaning that, listen, when a rapper dies, that's product. That's not information. They're not giving you information. They're paying for a product. They're grandizing themselves off the bloodshed of you entertainers. I mean, they being straight up. It's crazy how the Gentiles can look you in your face on camera and say the most evil things with a straight face, but they know how to really dress it up and use some real wordplay to make it seem like it's nothing wrong with what they're saying. I mean, these are the manipulators here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you.
We're licensing product, and that's what we're paying for.
If they were just doing...
We're licensing product. That's what we're paying for. So it's licensed product, ladies and gentlemen. They don't look at it as news. TMZ is not a news station. TMZ is not reputable because they're looking at the quote unquote what we think is information is just a product that they can license. Meaning if something happens in the world, they license initially when the story breaks, they license what happened, meaning they own it, they patent it, they put their code on it, they put their number on it, and they can listen. After they license this supposed information, they change information to a product. After they license it, they can put whatever narrative on it that they want. Don't you get it? They can put any narrative on it that they want because they licensed it. It's not even information no more. It's a product.
Celebrity journalism. I don't think you'd write about them. I don't think we'd be talking about them.
Absolutely.
We're talking about them because they've done some consequential stories, right? That have had some impact, whether it's Ray Rice in the case of the NFL, a story about a bank getting a bailout that then spent a lot of money on a party.
Right.
Somehow they've crossed over into having some kind of impact.
Right. Sterling, the former Los Angeles Clippers owner, who this idea for the story was conceived in the aftermath of the second Ray Rice video that TMZ posted, in which it showed him knocking out his then fiancée. TMZ was punching, no pun intended, but sort of punching above its weight and posting some very, consequential stories. And
the NFL in that case had to pay attention.
And doing it and finding video in ways that other media organizations weren't. And that I think was the reason that we took this project on. What is TMZ? How do they do what they do? And, I was just fascinated trying to sort of figure out how the operation works.
And how much do you think this has changed the way that celebrity journalism works?
That's a great question. How do you believe this has changed the way celebrity journalism works? Oh, I'm very curious to see how he answers this one.
I think that it's changed the way that celebrities respond to the journalism that's being done about them.
So now he went directly to the celebrities. Let's make it clear. There is no secret that the celebrities, they have close communication with TMZ. It's amazing how he didn't point to other journalists. He went to celebrities. don't doubt for a second that celebrities have TMZ's number. They have numbers to their headquarters. And there's times when they want publicity, they pay TMZ to pop up. Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah, they pay the media. They pay TMZ to pop up and act like they're stars. Oh, I'm about to leave out of this area here. I want TMZ to pop on me. Yeah, let me call them. Let me give the bag. Hey, listen. Yeah, I'm leaving out this hotel. Yeah, pull up. Yeah, no, I'm gonna pay you, but this gonna help me out because I'm doing this, that, and the third. And I want y'all to, come interview me while I'm leaving out. Make me feel like a bigger star. Make me look like a bigger star than I am. Listen, the artist, the way he just said that, he went directly to the artist as if this is how it changes it. Because now you have scenarios in which the artists, the entertainers, and the celebrities, now, they can change the narrative of what is actually reported because we're in cahoots. TMZ is dealing with people in the industry. It's all street theater. Straight up. They got each other's phone number. It is what it is. All right, let's continue.
I think that there is a sense of the sense of immunity that if you were a celebrity, you can sort of ensconce yourself in publicists and managers and be able to kind of navigate your way around, and lawyers navigate your way through crises.
And that's one thing, Harvey.
Hold on, he just said something key. Let's go back a little bit further.
And managers and be able to kind of navigate.
Hold up.
Respond to the journalism that's being done about them. I mean, I think that there is a sense of the sense of immunity that if you were a celebrity, you can sort of ensconce yourself in publicists and managers and be able to kind of navigate your way, and lawyers navigate your way through crises.
And that's one thing Harvey Levin was acting against, right?
Absolutely.
Kind of bubble.
Pete, what he said, he says now with management, aka handlers, now with lawyers, in cahoots with TMZ, you can navigate yourself out of crises. So now, if, for instance, you done something that is wrong, TMZ, they get on the scene, they report. But now that you have handlers, you have certain managers, they're discussing things with Harvey, the owner of TMZ, and they're gonna work out how they're gonna play this out on the public. And there's certain things that you can get out of as a celebrity because everybody's connected. Man, this is bringing it out. I'm telling you, y'all. So if the handler, the manager, the lawyers, and various people that's dealing with you, you get caught up by TMZ because they got their investigators, they got their people, they got their agents that's watching, their gang stalkers. And now you can get out of that situation you got caught in because guess what? Now everybody's in communication. All right, we're not going to release this. It is what it is. We can sweep this under the rug if the pay is right. If the money is right, there's a lot of things that can be hidden. Basically, there's a lot of, let me tell you, TMZ, they extorting a lot of people, allegedly. Yeah, it's about that bag. I'm telling you, Mirror the Light. I'm telling you, there's a lot of, straight payola. There's a lot of alleged extortion going on. A lot of it. Real talk. The dark side of TMZ.
Of control. He didn't like.
Absolutely. And so, it's impossible to do that if TMZ has court documents or if they have video footage or audio recordings of you speaking to your mistress and making sort of racist comments about spectators at your basketball games. It's just you can't avoid it. You can't sidestep it.
And the larger question is how much, if at all, has it impacted more traditional journalism? In other words, how much?
Basically, you can't avoid it. You can't sidestep it. So hey, he just said previously these fork-tongued double agent Gentiles. He just said previously, if with the management and lawyers, they can navigate their way out. And then he goes on to say, listen, we got you on wiretap. It ain't nothing else you can do to get out of this situation. You caught red-handed. But I'm telling you, if the money is right, they can get out of anything. This is like high levels of extortion on a lot of these celebrities. I truly believe that TMZ be extorting some of these entertainers, straight up.
Has their success and the tactics that they use had a larger influence?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think that, look, people People go to TMZ because they want to see, they don't want to hear about 3 sources in a hotel who say, we saw Ray Rice step into the elevator, we don't know what happened next, but we saw him drag his wife out. They don't want to read that, they want to watch the video. And so I think that, you're right, it's a good point that what readers want to see is they want to see documents, they want to see sort of the raw footage, and I think that there probably is a
That's crazy, because the hotel owners, who's selling them? Like, who sold the Ray Rice footage? Think about that. Since people are being incentivized, you will have a hotel worker, before they even go to the police with the footage, they like, listen, we got the footage over here in the camera of Ray Rice hitting his wife. Listen, how much you charging? I'm trying to retire. I'm trying to leave this hotel. Look, I got the footage. I got the tape right here. That's crazy. That's crazy that that's how it worked. They literally overstepped the judicial system. It's too much. They've given too much power.
Drift towards that.
Let me ask you finally, did you come away wary or mortified or impressed? What was your own feeling having looked into it?
I mean, I came away thinking a note of admiration for the way that they have wired Los Angeles. Now, if there was no money changing hands and they had people at Delta and at these limo companies and all these various places giving information, and their beat,
because they do, right?
And if TMZ's beat was to cover celebrity news and they had all this information coming in, there's no way that you could tip your hat. The fact that there's money changing hands does sort of bring about a cloud of controversy about how.
It definitely brings a cloud of controversy, because y'all able to do whatever the hell you want in any type of shady business practices in order to get that footage out. It's crazy
how they're doing it, but you have to hand it to them. What they do very well.
Yeah, they pretty much are stopping real investigative journalist work, and they're able to put whatever narrative they want.
All right, the article is The Digital Dirt. Nicholas Schmidl, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
The Digital Dirt, that's the name of his book. Wow, wow, wow. The Digital Dirt. Now, let's talk about Talmuz, TMZ. And y'all know what it is. You got to go to their sites. And I ain't saying no names. Y'all put 2 and 2 together. Y'all know who reads out of the Talmuz, right? You know who runs TMZ. You know what demographic of person he is. And ain't no need for us to say it, right? Let's talk about it. We're going on chabad.org. We're going to do some reading here, because this is what true investigative journalist work is about. It's actually about bringing forth the history, the understanding, and everything. Right? Talmuz, time for transformation. Let me make sure y'all can see this. I'm going to blow the screen up a little bit more. I want y'all to read along. Matter of fact, let's just make this full screen. And I want everyone to pound the like button. Pound the like button. Let's get it. Talmuz, time for transformation. The names of all the months in the Hebrew calendar are originally from Babylonia. The Jewish people adopted these Babylonian names during the 70-year exile in Babylonia. Yet all the Babylonians' names adopted, Talmuz stands out as peculiar. In the name of an actual Babylonian deity or idol. Why would our sages allow the adoption of the name of idolatry into the holiness of Judaism? So, what these people believe, which you already know, they practice Judaism, all right, which is a religious practice. And what the author is questioning is, why would you basically allow idolatry, a deity within your belief system? Let's get into it. Let's talk about TMZ. The short answer is that our role is not only to combat idolatry by defacing it, because the psychological motivation that draws people to idolatry is not cured that way. Wow, look at this warped way of thinking. So they saying, listen, we can't simply just remove idolatry. No, that's not how people's mind work. That's not how they're going to be cured of idolatry. We got to draw people in with more idolatry. Yeah, that's exactly what TMZ is doing. Celebrity news, celebrity gossip, drawing you in with idolatry, making you care about these people's lives when a lot of people don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out. But we worried about what Kim Kardashian ate at Starbucks this morning. Yeah, instead of just taking idolatry out like the Bible commands us, nah, we got to give y'all more idolatry. TMZ. TMZ, right? Let's continue. It goes on to say, Tammuz is thus the time of year best suited for understanding and practicing the process. See, let's go back. I skipped some. Because the psychological motivation that draws people to idolatry is not cured that way. Instead, in the long run, we have to transform the negative psychological proclivities that lead to idolatry and transform them into positive ones. It seems, therefore, that the sage's choice of the name of the false god Tammuz provides us with a case study of the problem of idolatry and its solution. Hegelian dialectic. They play both sides, y'all. The month of Tammuz is thus the time of year best suited for understanding and practicing the process of transformation, or hapcha, as it's called, chazadu, in the psyche. As we see, the Tammuz is a parasite that lives off the human tendencies to self-pity our senses of the tragic. Wow. So listen, Tammuz essentially is a parasite. So what TMZ is parasites feeding off of this tendencies of self-pity, of human nature, of tragedy. They're literally feeding off a tragedy like a parasite, feeding off the wounds of other people. That's what their journalism has become. And what it's doing is it's narrative outside of logic, because this is a deity we talking about. Remember what Ezekiel said. Ezekiel 8:14 says, "Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was towards the north, and behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz." They were weeping for Tammuz. So they were emotional. This is the idea, to get you emotional, outside of reasoning, outside of logic. Tammuz was a god that manipulated, a deity that manipulated the people, confused the masses, made them cry and weep. That's why when you go into these churches, you see all the women running around crying and falling out and passing out. Listen, there's no edification going on. There's no teaching going on. There's no real substance going on in these churches, but everybody out here crying. You even see grown ass men crying. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the spirit of Tammuz. That's the spirit of Tammuz. That's not Christ. Christ was a teacher. Christ brought logic. Christ was destroying the Pharisees and scribes, bringing forth that knowledge. See, under sorcery and magic, all the women crying, all the men weeping, shedding tears. That's Tammuz, outside of the scope of logic. It goes on to say, as we will see, the Tammuz is a parasite that lives off human tendencies to self-pity. So that's what it does, is manipulating you. The birth of tragedy, none of the Mammothines, I don't know how to pronounce that, Maimon, I don't know, that looks like it's incorrect. They got it underlined like they ain't spell it right. Let me read this real quick. Moshe ben Maimon, I'm trying to get the etymology of the word, y'all forgive me. Maimonides, I don't know how you pronounce that, yo. But anyway, let's continue. Who is also one of the greatest scholars of ancient idolatry. And he himself attests, bring us the story of the Tammuz. Tammuz was a false prophet in ancient Mesopotamia. Yeah. He was a false prophet in ancient Mesopotamia. That's who your TMZ is named after. A false prophet from Mesopotamia. Yeah, it ain't nothing new under the sun. It's always idol gods that they're worshiping. Let's go on. Tammuz was a false prophet in ancient Mesopotamia who was tortured to by death by a certain king. After his death, his followers concocted a tale that one night of his death, all the gods came to crown him, and they flew away the next morning. The story was turned into a play with Tammuz playing the role of the tragic hero. This play was so popular that the prophet Ezekiel in the Bible tells us that even in that time that the holy temple stood, there were regular showings in Jerusalem. So it was screenplays. It was plays. It was theater, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it was theater. That's what they was doing. Ezekiel the prophet told us about this in the Bible. Just like TMZ is setting up stages. They got a whole, listen, they got a whole studio over there in LA. And it's more of a documentary style. It's literally the media mirrored themselves after this ancient god, this deity. Man. Only in Hollywood, right? Yeah. Oh, everything is biblical. See, once you awaken, once you see what's going on, once your eyes are open, you can't unsee this stuff. You can't unsee this stuff. Watch this. It says, Ezekiel tells us that even in that time, the holy temple stood. There were regular showings in Jerusalem of this play. And the women of Jerusalem would watch the play and weep. So they would watch the play of Tammuz and they would weep for him. Yeah. And now in these churches, y'all worshiping Tammuz and don't even realize it. That's what got you crying. They putting on a show. They putting on a play. The same thing with TMZ. Showing you the most horrendous things. Got you in your emotions. Got you in your feelings to the point where you don't even look at concrete evidence. You don't look at facts. You don't look at the real investigative journalists. You don't look at the people who are bringing forth the truth through the spirit of the Most High, because you are easily manipulated by pagan deities and gods. This is who these people reverence. These are who these people worship. And there's no reason why we didn't have 5,000 people in this stream, because I'm bringing forth some of the most, I'm talking about, this is some of the most pivotal information on this platform. And they have shadow banned this video to no avail. This don't even add up, ladies and gentlemen. This video is supposed to be everywhere because nobody is calling out Z. They are using sorcery at its highest scale. Nobody is calling this out. See, this is what your church ain't gonna be talking about. This is what your 501c churches and camps and congregations, they ain't even gonna touch on this. They ain't gonna do it. Rashi explains that Tammuz is the name of the first summer months because in Aramaic, it literally means heat. He also notes that Tammuz idol that was placed in near the holy temple was fabricated with eyes made of lead. When heated up, the idol's eyes would shed tears of lead, which would run down his face. The tragic story of the prophet, the tear-jerking play, and the crying idol all led to the air of pity and tragedy surrounding the Tammuz. Wow, those are some negative emotions, straight pity and tragedy. But the pity was not heartfelt. It was a cheap manipulation of emotions. It was a cheap manipulation of emotions. And more than anything else, catered to people's need to identify with the misfortune of others in order to alienate their own feelings of self-pity. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Is that not TMZ? Is that not TMZ? Manipulation of the emotions and more than anything else catered to people's need to identify with the misfortune of others in order to alleviate their own feelings of self-pity. That is the Talmud. Ladies and gentlemen, that's TMZ. That's TMZ. Man, oh man. An ancient god, a deity. Yep. Somebody said, man, that sound like society today. Somebody said, you love that gunshot. Exactly. I do, because I'm firing shots at the hidden hand pretty much. I'm firing shots. I'm pointing out their gods. I'm pointing out who they serve. I'm pointing out who own the network. I'm pointing it out right now. I don't even know if this is going to be able to stay on this platform. Y'all don't get it. They don't like when you point out their gods. The pity, listen, it tells you straight up what TMZ about. It identifies with the misfortune of others in order to alleviate their own feelings of self-pity. The tragedy of Talmud's life was shared by those who felt their own lives were just one long tragic affair. So everybody who is on TMZ all day, you scrolling, you getting a nice juicy story. You on there, listen, you live on TMZ. You believe that TMZ is the know all be all. Listen, that's because your existence pretty much is a long tragedy. That's what they believe. Your existence is just pretty much a long tragic event, and you are a useless eater, and you find the need to look for the misfortune in others. That's why you constantly scrolling Shade Room. You constantly scrolling Talmuds, aka TMZ. This is why. Because you're looking for fault in others, but it's because you're not happy with your own life. At least that's what it is in layman's terms, man. That's what they saying to you in layman's terms. And they wonder why I don't go off of TMZ and I do my own research. I don't care what these content creators are saying. These people are getting lined up and blood sacrificed in that industry. That young man, Big Scar, I am 100% sure that he was an alleged blood sacrifice. Straight like that. Straight up. Even though today the Talmuds as a form of idolatry is a long forgotten tale, the sediments of pity and tragedy that is fed upon are still ambiguous as they were 2,500 years ago. First, it is easy to see the Talmuds as the precursor to Greek tragedy, which today remains in good standings in the eyes of Western culture. In the eyes of Western culture, and the integral part of a liberal education. See, TMZ is liberal education. That is liberal media, ladies and gentlemen. It is a programming taking place on the people. All right. But the similarities between the shallow manipulation of the Talmud's cult and the modern day popularity, even worship of stars who lives, are pictured as tragic and too strong to overlook. See? I love reading. It's fundamental. It says the similarity between the shadow manipulation of the Talmud's cult. TMZ is a huge Talmud's cult. Yes. Ubiquitous, meaning everywhere, and widespread for those wondering. Yep. They're everywhere and widespread, just like all the agents that work for TMZ. See, they mirrored TMZ after the god Tammuz. Evident. And they are a cult. And they have a left-wing, well, I'm not going to use the word left-wing. Let's just say they have a liberal agenda to propagate certain ideas and ideologies. If the ends justify the means, that's the narratives they're going to push through their storylines. Ladies and gentlemen, TMZ pushes storylines. It's not facts. Yeah, we dealing with fourth generational warfare now. You know what it takes to push this type of information out to the masses? Crazy. It goes on to say, the pity and tears shed for a figure such as Elvis, Jim Morrison, River Phoenix are the same of those shed for Tammuz. It is the identification with the tragedy in modern day icons, lives that inspire so many people to treat them as idols and to continue the cult of tragic hero worship. Man, the dark side of TMZ. Even if a person does not find himself attracted to Elvis, the sense of despair and tragedy may unfortunately still be present in the psyche. Many people today suffer from the view of life as tragedy, a view that fosters tragic self-image. Man, this is an entirely jam-packed, full of information article. I mean, I'm not going to read the entire article. I'm going to read the article when I get off here, but I'm not going to read it for y'all. The Bible says study to show yourself approved. You need to really go in and study this. You need to really go in and study this, how they create idols out of people using the Tammuz, how they create this hero worship, how they create these storylines and plots. Yo, we got to demand better. The disrespect for our people is just, it's disturbing. It's disturbing, the disrespect for our so-called heroes. And believe it or not, whether you like to admit it or not, these young boys, they look at these rappers as heroes. Even though they're not, and a lot of times they're villains. And sometimes they're gray areas. I say sometimes they're villains if they're dealing treacherously with our own community. But sometimes there's gray areas. But the way they do our people, ooh, man. The way they do our people, something else. Yep. I see what you said, C-Note. I see what you said, bro. Yeah. Ironic enough, right? You see who run TMZ. You see who the so-called founder of TMZ is. Look at his character. He happened to be playing for the other side. And he happened to be a certain demographic, which we won't mention. To go to show you, the information is out there. What drives TMZ? What is the driving motivational force? It is Tammuz. That's what TMZ stands for, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's what it stands for. It's Tammuz. It's Tammuz worship. They got that black dude there. He also playing for the other side. Y'all know what it is. And of course, they're trying to portray a liberal spin on things. Certain narratives putting out. Man, this is the world we live in, brothers and sisters. This is the truth. There's a couple scriptures I want to bring forth. Second Timothy 2:7 says, consider what I say, and the Lord give thee understanding in all things. This is why we go into the scriptures, because we don't allow evil to exalt itself against the knowledge of God. We casting down all imaginations, every high thing, and we bringeth into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. We're not going for the lies anymore. The veil has been lifted. You can't continue to sit up here and manipulate the people. TMZ, and all these other individuals, they're going to be judged and destroyed for how they played on the emotions of the people. And we don't even get logical, concrete evidence and facts when it comes to the death of one of our people. All we get is a TMZ post. All we get is videos of them laid out so people can cry and mourn and weep. When Takeoff died, all people did was cry, mourn, and weep. Nobody asked for any facts. Nobody took the logical approach. You know why? Because Talmuz wanted it that way. The ancient deity wanted you to cry, mourn, and to weep. Not seeking truth, not seeking justice, not getting standing. See, we can see the gods that are behind these things now. We can see clear as day. Romans 12:2 says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your minds, that you may prove what that is good, acceptable, and perfect, the will of the Most High. We got to renew our minds. Stop letting these people manipulate us. Wake up, Israel. Wake up, people. 1 Corinthians 3:18, let no man deceive you. If any man among you seem to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. Stop thinking you know everything as you done seen some news air out. Listen, you got to throw all that away. If you think you wise according to this world, you need to really humble yourself. You need to come down a notch. Seriously. If you want real wisdom, get into this Bible, man. Ajua Garcia, thank you for the 10, says the Most High has a real high calling on your life. You're the apple of his eye. Continue with the work. Your award at the end will be great. Hashtag platform, in my opinion. Thank you so much. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Ajua. Thank you for the support. I appreciate that. And those are some encouraging words. And that's a blessing. I ask that everybody share this broadcast, share it everywhere, thumb it up, spread this video across as much as you can, and get the word out. It is what it is, brothers and sisters. I am done speaking on this topic. Hopefully you gain edification. I want everybody to have a blessed evening. Y'all stay strong out here. Hey, keep seeking truth and be blessed. With that being said, shalom and peace. NGT to the world. Oh.